138 Openings of Wisdom. This is the 33rd opening, opening 33. And the English Gematria words for today are "It's Happening." "It's Happening" has a numerical value of 138 in regular English Gematria. It's IT apostrophe S is equals to 48. And happening equals 90. 90 plus 48 is 138. And we're continuing on in the 33rd opening. The branches of Adam Kadmon successively reveal the likeness of man. Ab, Sag, Ma, and Ban are revealed from Adam Kadmon. Ab corresponds to the Chachma of Adam Kadmon, and what exists here does not come within our grasp. It sends forth its light by way of the hairs of the head, through which the brain reveals its contents, while itself remaining concealed. But Sag reveals the lights that are concealed in Ab. And this is the emanation that constitutes Atzilut, which little by little becomes increasingly revealed. Accordingly, the inner light and encompassing light are initially far from one another, but they steadily come closer together, little by little, until they reach the mouth where a vessel is made. There, the likeness of man is properly rooted, and this is the aspect of Ma and Ban that is revealed afterwards. Having discussed in general terms how radiations of light emerge from Adam Kadmon, we must now explain the details. The proposition has three parts. Part 1, Ab, Sag, Ma, and Ban. This is what is revealed overall. Part 2, Ab corresponds to the Chachma. This discusses Ab in particular. Part 3, however, Sag, this discusses the Sag in particular. Part 1, Ab, Sag, Ma, and Ban are revealed from Adam Kadmon. For you have already heard that all that exists in all the different orders of the body is revealed in the face. And it is what is revealed in the face itself that is revealed through the apertures, the fissures through which the soul breaks through. Now everything in the entire body consists of Ab, Sag, Ma, and Ban. If so, that which is revealed is Ab, Sag, Ma, and Ban. Part 2. Ab corresponds to the Chachma of Adam Kadmon. The underlying secret of Chachma, wisdom, and Bina, understanding, is that Chachma is how things are arranged in the depth of the mind, Machshava, literally thought. But Bina constantly reveals the hidden mysteries of Chachma. Ab corresponds to the picture formed in the depth of the mind of Adam Kadmon, and what exists here does not come within our grasp. For the nature of Chachma is to be hidden and concealed. It sends forth its light by way of the hairs of the head. The hairs of the head are the first radiant splendor. This is comparable to the beard, which is the first radiant splendor of the face, as discussed in the previous opening. It is from the hairs of the head that the light of Ab goes out as a second radiant splendor, comparable to the second radiant splendor discussed in the case of the face, through which the brain reveals its contents. The secret of the hairs in every place they are found is that they are connected with what is arranged within the brain inside the head. This is revealed outside on the head in the category of hairs. The letters of the Hebrew word se'ar, hair, are the same as shar, a gateway, and the root, sha'er, to form a mental estimate. Sha'er. Everything connected to the hairs and all their laws follow the nature of the brain, the way it is inside. This will be explained further in its proper place. Opening 105. While remaining concealed, the light of Ab that emerges is concealed since it corresponds to Chachma, whose nature is to be concealed. Part 3. But Sag reveals the lights. This is Bina, which, as I've said, reveals the lights of Chachma that are occluded. I'm not sure what that word means. Are occluded? Maybe concealed. That are concealed in Ab. For the lights of Sag are not other lights that did not develop out of Ab. If that were the case, Ab would be a separate aspect by itself, marked by the fact that its actions and effects are not revealed, while the lights of Sag would be a quite different aspect, since their effects are revealed. If this were so, we would fall into the problem of disconnected scatteredness. This is the apparent jumping that I discussed earlier in opening 32, where you start with one aspect and then before you know where it leads, jump to another, having no connection with the first. You cannot say such a thing, because this would not be knowledge, but bewilderment. The proper way, if these lights that we are discussing are the lights of government, is that they would follow a developmental sequence, one after the other, from beginning to the end. The truth is that all the levels discussed in the Kabbalah, from the beginning of Adam Kadmon to the end of all Asiyah, are all bound up with each other and develop one from another. The difference between them is that every higher level is more concealed than the level below, such that things move from a state of concealment to one of revelation, but all are one interconnected chain. Thus, all that is revealed afterwards in the form of the light of Sag is what was initially concealed in the light of Ab. The lights of Sag themselves are not a multitude of scattered interconnected aspects. They constitute a single whole that steadily becomes increasingly revealed stage by stage. And this is the emanation that constitutes Atzilut. For the intention from the very outset was to bring into being the root of the likeness of man in a way closely relating to the lower creatures, so that it should serve as the root for their service. This root is the emanation that constitutes Atzilut, which is built of Ma and Ban after they were joined together. For the lights there are the actual causes of all the different aspects of this world, being close to them and related to them in a fitting way, which was not the case on the earlier levels, the lights of Ab and Sag, which constitute only the root of these actual direct causes. Okay, maybe we'll do part 2. Let's see here. How much time do we have? Let's see here. You will be. I think we can do the whole thing and see what time it is. What time is it? It's 9. Oh yeah, we have time. You will be able to understand this through what I've already said in connection with the successive concealments produced by the line of measurement. That each successive degree of concealment causes new effects according to the concealment in question. See opening 30, part 2. The likeness of man could only emerge in this way, in its various aspects, following this gradation and succession of increasing degrees of concealment until they reached the level called Atzilut, but not above this. Thus, Rabbi Chaim Vital wrote that Even though we use the terms ear and eyes in the case of Ram Kanmon, this is only to break through and make sense of the human ear, to give us a faint indication of something that is intrinsically beyond our grasp. Eitz Chaim Shar Ozen Chotem Peh, chapter 1, page 34a. In Ta, chapter 1, 20, verse 20, and then 3. For these terms do not properly apply except where the light stands at a level that relates to the lower realms, so that the lower realms can emerge from there in accordance with the law of gradual progression. But here above, on the levels of the lights of Sog and the worlds of vision and hearing, the use of these terms is purely figurative, inasmuch as this is the place of the root of these phenomena below. Thus, we find, let's see, was I over there? Yeah. Thus, we find that what had to be revealed was the underlying likeness of man. If so, we may say that what had to be revealed was Atzilut, and the intention of the successive degrees of concealment was to bring the light eventually to this level. But all that we are talking about now is contained in the parts of this radiant splendor that we have been discussing. These parts stand in a hierarchy, one under the other, in accordance with the principle of the line of measurement, the Kav Hamidah, which is that the light of each successive level is less than that of the level above it. The end goal of these lights is Atzilut. If so, we may say that the purpose of the different parts of this radiant splendor is to bring about Atzilut, which little by little becomes increasingly revealed, gradually until it reaches the point that it comes into existence. Accordingly, their various aspects follow a gradual order, one under another. Accordingly, the inner light and encompassing light are initially far from one another, but they steadily come closer together little by little. For we certainly see in these lights something that advances gradually, stage by stage. And this is the steadily increasing closeness of the inner light and the encompassing light. Since it is the end of this gradation that actually brings forth the root of the likeness of man, as discussed below. If so, we may directly infer that in these lights, Atzilut is successively revealed little by little, until they reach the mouth where a vessel is made. What we see is that the end of this gradual process is the formation of the vessel, and the vessel relates to the lower realms, and goes on to say, as it goes on to say, there the likeness of man is properly rooted. This signifies two things. The first is that the concept of the vessel relates to the likeness of man, for the essence of the likeness of man is the existence of the body and the soul within it. And the true root of the concept of the body is the vessel. And since the vessel is the end level that we see in the lights of the ear, the nose, and mouth, if so, we know clearly that the lights of the ear, nose, and mouth lead gradually to the likeness of man, based upon the body. Second thing signified here is that the lights of the mouth are actually made to provide the root of the world Nikodim, openings 36 through 58. The gradation is seen even more clearly in the fact that even the lights of the eyes themselves, as will be discussed later, follow in gradation after the mouth. This indicates that Atzilut specifically is the likeness of man through the mystery of Ma and Ban, which is where the vessels are found in all their details. And the root of this lies in the lights of the mouth, which is the overall vessel prior to the detailed revelation of everything connected with it. This is surely the nature of gradation. First comes the overall whole, and afterwards the details. We may not make only one level out of what are actually two levels. Accordingly, we see that the lights of the mouth are the location of the vessel, for this is the level on which it already becomes revealed, albeit in a general way. The lights of the eyes contain the aspect of the vessel in a detailed way, through the mystery of Ma and Ban, as will be discussed below in its proper place. Accordingly, the lights of the mouth contain what was necessary in order to bring forth the various aspects of the vessels in their place in all their details. All the aspects discussed in the Kabbalah in connection with the lights of the mouth in their entirety are to be understood as preparations for what must come into being later in the Atzilut in its place. This includes the revelation and the perfection of the vessels, and that it should be by the way of departure, Istalkut, of the light. This is the root of all that relates to man's service, and the rectification is to be afterwards in Atzilut, as will be discussed in this place. And this is the level of Ma and Ban that is revealed afterwards. This is the end of the entire chain of development, the likeness of man in its place in the mystery of Ma and Ban, as discussed above and as will be discussed further later on.